Okay, let's say that we have no choice but to fight these guys. We're going to use visual aesthetics to instill psychically in the enemy the disincentive to attack.
What do you mean?
Okay, you pick one of them out, you lock eyes with them, and you go into this monotone one, and you're going to go, no, I'm not going to attack you. You relax your body and your voice. And you just rip out one of his eyes. Or you get a pen and you stab him in the neck and you create this, fountain of blood. And I mean a real fountain, get it squirting all over his buddies. That is a psychic disincentive right there.
You haven't got a pen.
You're missing the point.
You're listening to Foundations for Founders, a podcast about startups and life and everything in between.
Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Foundations for Founders. I'm Daniel Reyes.
I'm Angel Graham.
And this is our third episode.
Round three.
Yeah, third time's the charm, right? Maybe we'll get it right.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, exactly. So we've got a bunch of interesting stories, everything from secondhand graves to cereal cafes.
Yeah, it's going to be a good show.
It's going to be a good show. And then we're also going to talk about ways to fund your own startup.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're looking at starting a business, we've got some ideas for you.
Collecting spare change, the
right.
Random peel and win games from
invest
fast food
in a metal
restaurants.
detector. Yeah. And we'll definitely talk about that for sure. For those of you that don't know, Angel and I run a startup company called Haggle Champ.
HaggleChamp.com.
That's correct. It's basically what we do is we get car dealerships to compete against each other over your business. So pretty excited. It's a brand new company, so that's why we're calling our podcast Foundations for Founders, because we're just laying down our foundation as well.
Yep. We're going through this with all of you.
Exactly. Well, Angel, how was your week? It's been an eventful week for us.
It has been an eventful week. It's been a pretty busy week. Not too bad. I wish the weather was a little bit better, but it's like as though winter just bam arrived. Like we were doing well in Seattle for a while there, and then boom, cold.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's what's happening over here too.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, I live in North Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
Angel lives in Seattle.
Mm-hmm. That's Western Washington, also kind of north.
Right, also north. Well, maybe we should get to our news stories.
Okay. What do you got in the mail today?
Yeah, exactly. Well, our first news story comes from theslate.com, and it says, Hyundai and Kia fined over overstating miles per gallon of more than 1 million vehicles.
Wait, what did they find?
They
are fined. They're being fined.
They are fined,
okay.
Yes. It looks like they're going to be fined
monetary discipline style fined.
Yeah, they're going to be fined right around.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to be fined right around $300 million by the Justice Department.
Well, that's a fair amount. Yeah.
Right.
That's
for overstating gas mileage on window stickers of cars.
Okay.
Apparently, what happened is the Korean automaker, the Hyundai Motor Group, will be fined at least $100 million,
mm-hmm.
and then they will also have to forfeit $200 million in greenhouse gas credits. So that's where the $300 million comes into total. So they're saying that
everyone's got to get paid on that one, I guess.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, what is this sticker? Is this that factory sticker? That comes in.
Yeah, that says you get 32 miles per gallon or whatever.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yep.
And what they're saying is that they boosted the number of miles per gallon by 1 or 2 miles, depending on the model. The Kia Soul, however,
rounds up, right? That's basic.
Well, I guess, but the Kia Soul was rounded up by a hefty 6 miles per gallon.
Ooh, what's the difference there?
I thought it was more of a green car just because of the hamsters.
Yeah, that's just their. Well, I guess they did put a lot of marketing into that, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah,
they did.
Out.
Yeah, so they're gonna have to pay quite a bit of money.
Well, here we go. The header of this, and we'll provide the links for the listeners.
For sure, it's in the show notes.
If you drive a Hyundai or a Kia and you've ever run out of gas, it
mm-hmm.
may not have been your fault.
Exactly.
What?
Well, you know.
Yes, it
It's,
is. I don't care what the MPG sticker says. If you run out of gas, come on.
Well, watch
There's a
your
light,
needle.
isn't there? Yeah, right.
Yeah. I like to not let my truck get below a quarter of a
so
tank.
authoritative, the
You know?
beginning of these things. I love where you find these from, man. I gotta say.
Oh, I know. But, you know, they're saying that, essentially Hyundai is saying that they just didn't understand the way the government calculates their miles per gallon, and so that they basically messed up.
Well, maybe they had an older calculator.
Maybe, you know.
Maybe they updated the firmware of their miles per gallon calculator, and then it's an oversight. It's just a $300 million oversight.
Which happens every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right.
So what? I mean, in real time, what's the impact of this now? I mean, is this just their stock's going to fall? Keep an eye on this, like.
I would imagine their stock gets a hit a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody's going to get a stern talking to. You know, maybe not invited to the holiday Christmas party.
Sure.
You know, something like that.
Yeah, there's a department head out there somewhere that failed to make it to someone's Christmas card list this year.
Oh, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. Somebody's not getting in the Secret Santa pool. All right, so our second news story comes from theatlantic.com.
Okay.
And the headline reads, Shopping for secondhand graves on Craigslist.
I love how you're laughing at that. Shopping for secondhand graves.
On Craigslist. Yeah. So,
I've not seen that section on Craigslist, I'll be fair.
You know, I haven't either. I don't know if it's under, like, apartments and condos or... Yeah, but...
Go into the story. I'm going to look for that, folks.
Yeah. So essentially what's going on in Queens, New York, people are selling family plots. So as an example in the story, they have a 61-year-old man who had a brother who died when he was 1 year old. So years ago. The family has hit a financial crisis of a sort. It really doesn't go into why. But basically, the family needs the money,
sure.
so they're going to exhume the body and casket of the 1 year old, remove his headstone. This says disintegrate the remains, so I imagine that's cremation of a sort. Yeah, and sell that plot.
And this is a real thing.
This is a real thing. This is not made up.
Wow.
To give you an idea, a secondhand grave in New York and New Jersey area is going for anywhere between $1,500 to $11,000, and a secondhand mausoleum crypt goes anywhere between $8,000 and $14,000. So it's a lot of money. Another one.
Oh, and I've got his ad right here. Looking to sell 4 graves. Reads this ad. No need for them since moving to Florida. Well, that seems logical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that makes sense, but that's not somebody's grave in there, you know?
I guess. I mean, all right, so here we are, Craigslist, New York, real quick. For sale, we're under all. Antiques, appliances, arts, crafts, beauty, blah, 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 cars and trucks, computers, garage sale, no graves, nothing.
Well, I mean, my heart kind of goes out to this family, because clearly they need the money. I don't think they thought, well, crap, we need $1,500 to party. You know, I know. I mean, that's horrible on so many levels.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Let's turn the corner.
Let's move past that. So we're going to take a right-hand turn, folks.
Yeah, and let's do something a little bit more fun.
Yeah.
So we're looking at thedailyedge.journal.ie, and the headline says, Irish brothers set to open the greatest restaurant in London for cereal. And brothers Gary and Alan Kearney are set to create the world's first cereal-only cafe.
Well, someone had to do it.
Somebody had to do it. They promised that they will offer...
Did they cut a menu for this now?
Oh, yeah. They have a menu.
Wow.
They promise that they will have over 2 floors in the cafe with over 100 different cereals and 13 different types of milk and 20 different toppings. So this isn't, just hey, I woke up in my pajamas and I'm going to go into my kitchen.
Like, did you put bacon on it? Like, toppings? What is...
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow. 100 different cereals these guys are touting.
Okay, so, like, my favorite cereal is Captain Crunch.
Right.
And I think I would kind of like it with, some cocoa, what is that, Cookie Crisp.
Okay.
I think that would
be... I could see that. Now, where do you stand on the hot cereal thing?
Oh, to me, that's just oatmeal.
So you're not one of those malto meal or cream of wheat
kind
of guys?
No.
It's just plain Jane steel cut round nuts for you, huh?
To me, cereal is the breakfast of the person who's given up for that morning. You've just said, I don't want to try too hard. I want to throw something in a bowl. I want to pour something on top of it and eat that.
Yeah, but now you have a choice of over 100 cereals to choose from here.
Right, but I think the problem is you're making such a simple thing complex. That's just what gets me,
Well, I suppose it depends on what they're charging for it, because, how long does it take to eat a bowl of cereal if you... that begs the question why you didn't do it at home before you left, but, this is a destination spot, right? Like, you can't...
Well, it's going to open in London, so... And apparently they had tried to get some crowdfunding, and actually we're going to talk about funding your startup in a little bit, so that's a great dovetail, but they tried crowdfunding and didn't get as much money as they had hoped.
Okay.
But they were so set on this, they raised the money independently, and now they're going to launch it. They promised there's going to be all sorts of cereal memorabilia, I guess kind of like a Hard Rock Cafe for cereal.
Okay.
I don't know if I care that much about cereal. Like if there's a line there, or they tell me the wait's more than 20 minutes, I'd probably be like, I'll just go to the drugstore and get something else.
So I got a question.
How long till the Pop-Tart Cafe opens?
Well, right, exactly. Or the iHot, right? I've long since thought about the International House of Toast.
That would be amazing.
Right? Someone's got to do that.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just gonna kind of go down this road. So, like, there's always an IHOP, right, that shares a parking lot with some major hotel chain. There's always typically you'll find like a Quality Inn Suites, right, and then boom, there's an IHOP there. What if you opened a Quantity Inn Suites, right? So your slogan could be we almost always have vacancy. Right, and you just intentionally double book rooms where there's like bunk beds in it and crazy stuff, and then send them off in the morning to the International House of Toast.
Okay.
You're not buying it. No,
I'm not buying it at all.
My question on this cereal thing, though. So if you're like staring at the menu and there's a picture and there's like I don't know, 12 or 13 Cheerios on the spoon. Do you think that this restaurant could be fined, like Hyundai was, for misrepresentation of how many O's are in the spoon there, if you really only had room for 10?
Well, I'm just wondering, like, the cereal that's magically delicious and the other one that is, only kids understand, like Trix, like, I don't know. It's... And then who gets the prizes from all the cereal boxes?
That is where I want to go, right? The restaurant that gives those out. They're just probably keeping them and putting them on a shelf.
Oh, probably.
Yeah. Okay, but realistically, does cereal boxes... I'm not a big... I don't usually go to the cereal aisle in the store, admittedly. But you still get the toy in the box. That's still a thing, not just from childhood.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't eaten cereal in years.
There you go. Yeah. They made maybe... And this was... Now, you said they were Irish brothers. Are they... It's in London, right?
It's in London.
In London.
Yeah.
Well, maybe English cereal doesn't have toys in it. You never know.
Well, they're going to have cereal from America, from France, Australia, South Africa, and South Korea.
See. I gotcha. So this is a place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes it interesting to me. Like, I would want to try South African cereals. I don't know what they have over there.
What's the name of this spot? Did we cover that? This is the Serial Killer Cafe.
Serial Killer Cafe.
Oh.
Which, awesome, I guess.
Yeah.
Who wants to go to the Serial Killer Cafe?
This is kind of they're selling an idea, right? Like this has to be an experience. I went to the serial killer cafe and get a picture next to, I don't know, a giant box of Cheerios holding a rubber knife. Like what? I don't know.
My thought is, does the cereal come pre-poured, or like do they hand you like a cup of your favorite type of milk and a dry bowl, just the cereal in it, and they say, here, you pour as much as you want into it?
Well, most places kind of give you the little carafe of milk or whatever for...
Right.
Yeah, I would assume. I don't know how things are done out there.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I just looked at the time, and we're running out of time
for
this segment.
All right,
so,
we'll be right back, guys.
Yeah, we're going to talk about funding for your startup, and that's coming up next.
Buying a used vehicle can be very stressful, but HaggleChamp.com makes it much easier. At HaggleChamp.com, all you have to do is tell us what make, model, and year that you're after, and we'll alert our dealer network. Our dealers will give you their offer, and you can declare your number one contender. That's the offer you like the best so far. This then re-notifies the dealer network and encourages them to give you an even better deal. It's free to use, so head over to HaggleChamp.com. That's HaggleChamp.com.
Hey friends, welcome back to Foundations for Founders. I am Angel Cram.
And I'm Daniel Reyes.
We're excited to have you back. This first segment brought to you by HaggleChamp.com. We invite you to buy like a champ, save like a champ. Haggle.
Absolutely. That's right.
All right, man, so where were we? We were talking about some bizarre cereal stuff a second ago.
Some cereal, some secondhand graves, some overinflated miles per gallon on cars.
And we're gonna roll
so
that
many crazy things.
We're going to roll that into funding.
Right. Well, we were talking about this earlier today, about funding a startup.
Sure.
As we said in the top of the show, we run a startup right now, HaggleChamp.com,
mm-hmm.
and of course, like every other startup out there, we had to find funding. And there's a bunch of different ways to go about it.
Mm-hmm. And
we found an article on Entrepreneur.com that had 10 different ways to fund your startup.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, I only did one of these with HaggleChamp, but these are all great ideas, and I know people have done other ones, or some of these other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So the first one it says, and we'll just
So are you big in the CEO community now? Do you guys have your own private parties?
No, I don't. I don't hang out with
Things that
Zuckerberg
marketing
or
directors
like
don't
that.
get invited to?
No, not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I have not been invited.
We invite you, the listener, to share with us your infrastructure secret party ideas. You can find me on Twitter at AngelAspects21, or you can drop me a line at angel@hagglechamp.com.
That's true. Or you can get a hold of me. Twitter is at Dan Reyes, or email is daniel@hagglechamp.com. But so the first thing it says on the list is to get a bank loan or a line of credit.
Well, and that's tough to do. I have been down this road in another business endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a tough thing, man. Now, granted, we were kind of up against the financial recession, as it were, like the 07 or 08, like money down kind of situation.
Right.
So it's really, really, really tough to get anyone to buy in at that point. But that is really rough, just from experience.
Yeah, and then like chances are you have to put something up for collateral, so it kind of puts your own personal assets and get your business assets, and that's kind of tough. I mean, if you're a sole proprietor, that makes sense, but
and I guess that makes a big play too, right? Like we should explain the differences between the types of businesses that you can open too. I think that there'd probably be an entire show in and of itself.
That would be an entire show.
Basically, where do we sit with this whole thing?
We are a S corp,
mm-hmm.
taxed as an LLC.
Sure.
So basically, what that means is, as an S corp, I can create a limited number of stocks that are for the company,
mm-hmm.
and I can distribute that to investors, partners, that kind of stuff. And so that's what we have.
Really? I was told you'd make me a coffee once in a while, and I just kept coming back.
Yeah.
You guys get paid for this?
Not yet. We're pre-revenue, but someday soon. other way you can do, and the advantages of an S corp is, I'll just raffle through these real quick. The advantages of an S corp is the company is not taxed, but the individual founders are taxed. Okay. So you're not, you don't have to pay company tax and then your personal tax. A C corp, which is more of a traditional company, which is like your Coca-Colas or your Walmarts or something like that, those are C corps, and the company is taxed, and then the individual stock owners are taxed. So
well, and I would assume that does the state have anything to do with that, or this is all just federal?
This is all just federal.
Okay.
State laws are their own beast, and
sure. Okay.
Whatever state you're in, look up your laws.
Noteworthy to point out for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other one is a sole proprietorship, which is I just got a business permit from my local municipality, and I'm going to start a business. I want to start my bakery or coffee stand or whatever it is you want to do. Mm-hmm. And that's not to say that that's a bad thing or a small thing. It's just different people have different visions, and that's totally cool.
Yeah, and correct. And I think for the type of business that you're going to have, the volume of business that you're going to do, and obviously the projected to actual revenue stream is going to play a big factor in that too. Right,
absolutely. Okay, so now that we've gone over that.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's bring Tim on and we'll talk about that a little bit.
Tim?
Yeah.
Oh, our accountant.
Yeah.
We'll bring
Tim in.
Right.
Tim?
Yes,
Who's that? The other guy you promised coffee to.
That's right, that guy. Right. I offered him a percentage of coffee.
There you go. There you go.
So let's get back to these startup.
Yeah, entrepreneur.com. We're there.
Right. Mm-hmm. So number 9 is trade equity or services for startup help. So basically just barter your way into some help or, support or services or whatever. Like, if you're really good at computer networking and you need marketing help, well, maybe call a small marketing company in your town and say, hey, can you do some marketing for me and I'll take care of your systems for a little bit? Something like that. Trade things out. You'd be surprised what local business owners are willing to do and willing to work. Mm-hmm. The church I go to has a lot of business owners in it, and we always talk amongst ourselves and how we can help each other out. And oftentimes not for money, but just because we have different skill sets and we want to help each other out. So, yeah, it works out pretty good.
It's a great networking pool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Negotiate in advance from a strategic partner or customer.
Mm-hmm. This ranks, this is their 8th. Now, these aren't in any order, right?
No, these aren't in order of importance or anything. These are just,
I'm
just
on board.
Different ways to do it. So basically just find a major customer or a complementary business who sees the value in your idea and is willing to front some money to help you get it off the ground. Mm-hmm. Kind of makes sense, You'll have to, include some early licensing or white labeling agreements, but that's stuff to consider. Number 7 is join an incubator startup group or an accelerator. There are groups like this all around the country. There's even one in my area. And, they have resources, mentors sometimes, just different people that can help you out with funding or questions or even things you haven't even thought of yet.
Okay, so this seed funding pool for something like this would likely come from grants, right?
Well, depends, and we'll get into that in a little bit.
Sure.
Each incubator is different. So you could also, number 6 is solicit venture capital investors. So this is basically your own personal version of Shark Tank.
Well, sure. Yeah.
You go and you talk to rich people and you say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how it works. Are you interested in helping me fund it? Mm-hmm. Your business is going to get picked apart big time, and that's okay. Just make sure you.
Probably not a bad idea if it's a concept that's not been set into practice yet too. A lot of like if you've seen Shark Tank, at least the 1 or 2 episodes that I've seen in passing, they usually have been off the ground for a little while, and they're looking for growth more so.
Right.
You're right. Okay.
Right. So number 5 is apply to a local angel investor group. Mm-hmm. So you can use an online.
Entrepreneur has thought of it all, hasn't they?
Oh, they have. They have. So you can use online platforms such as Gust, GUST.com, and find angel investors and see if they want to help you. But you'll probably have to give up either percentages of your company or something. So just know that going in. Number 4, getting more and more popular. Start a crowdfunding campaign.
Yeah, now this is something that's gone crazy popular.
Yeah,
crazy popular.
The people I talk to are starting to push back against it, I think. Just because, you throw all this money to help somebody start up their business and you got a sticker.
Well, I guess so, if that's how things have become. Like, I know that a very dear friend of mine helped out a startup on Kickstarter.com, and these guys were making jewelry in some fashion, like wristwatches, I think was what they were doing. But the faces were variant types of stones, right? Like marble and like really unique pieces and stuff in the gallery. And as a result, he got like a really deep discount on their first run, and then the base plate underneath the watch face, like the part that actually touches your wrist when you're wearing it, actually has it has his first and last name on it, and it says Alpha Investor on it, and it was like a first press tailored directly to his wrist size, like a gorgeous piece too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man, incredible. Now obviously not everything, I guess, the way it sounds, if there's pushback on it, and I don't know much about it. But
I've only heard minor.
Everyone must just be flooding the market then, I guess, if it's come to that. Like,
right.
Oh, I got a sticker. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
But know what you're funding,
right?
This. Like, even still, if you're crowdfunding, you've got to kind of support the idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like,
absolutely. I mean, I saw one Kickstarter recently that I really liked, and it was they called it the world's flattest wallet.
Uh-huh.
And I love small wallets. I don't like carrying a file case with me. So this thing, I loved it, and I think even at the lowest end, you got one of the wallets for free. So I thought that was pretty cool. At least I get a wallet.
That's not bad.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so number 3 is request a small business grant.
Okay, sure. This is more of a traditional.
A little bit.
Grant seeking.
Yeah, you can go to grants.gov and try and find a business grant and see if you can apply for it. I've worked in the nonprofit sector, and I know about getting grants. And sometimes there's a long wait to get your grant.
Yeah, no easy task, I would think, if it's a .gov. I mean, not to rip on it, but most .govs mean you get to wait a long time.
And I will say, if you go this route, make sure you read everything. And it's not a bad idea to even hire a grant writer. Some grant writers will work for percentages if you get the grant. So that's an option. A lot of times in grants, you will lose out on it just because you didn't file your paperwork in the proper order.
Wow. So no do-overs then?
No do-overs.
Wow.
So, yeah, and then sometimes it's like you applied last year, so you can't apply this year. So just careful with that. Grants are tricky, but they're good if you can get them. It's like a loan that you don't have to pay back. Number 2, which is really the route I went, pitch your needs to your friends and family.
Well, sure.
Yeah, just go to your friends and family. I mean, depending on what you're trying to raise and how you're trying to do it, and try and collect some money from them. See if they want to help. A lot of early startups do that, and our startup did that as well. And the number 1 they said is fund it yourself.
Yep.
Which
is a lot of that's a lot of what we're doing too.
That's true.
Self-funded as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to decide. People will always say, "Oh, we don't have enough money for this, or we don't have enough money for that."
Mm-hmm.
Well, that may be true, but if you push on ahead, you'd be amazed what you can get over.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I think those are some great ideas for self-funding and finding money for your startup. Love to hear some of your startup ideas too.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Or if you're in a new business and it's kind of a in the startup phase, how did you get funded? You're welcome to reach out to us, Angel@HaggleChamp.com
or Daniel@HaggleChamp.com.
Yeah.
Yeah. So would love to hear more about that. I guess that's about our show for the day, or night, or morning, whatever it is you listen to this.
Any part of your day.
Exactly. So, all right, Angel, you don't know about this one. Let me ask you one question.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, this is a random question.
Okay.
I have this box full of questions, and it says, if you could have 50 pounds of anything other than money, what would you want?
50 pounds of anything other than money, what would I want?
So not gold or diamonds or anything like that.
I would want 50 pounds of cotton balls.
Really?
Yeah.
Why 50 pounds of cotton balls?
Because who wouldn't want to stuff a room full of cotton balls and then jump in there from some, elevated position?
Like a Scrooge McDuck money pit?
Well, no, not like that. Like a ball pit, right? Like,
Of cotton balls.
But of cotton balls, yeah, sure.
Okay.
And you'd never run out of cotton balls for all your random cotton ball needs. Oh, you put me on the spot with a rando question like that.
I know.
Yeah.
And the cotton balls win.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, hey, I don't know. What would you... Okay, so what would you...
I knew you were going to ask me.
Yeah.
And
oh, well...
I could only think of two things.
Yeah.
One was dog food, just because, then I don't have to worry about feeding my dog for a while.
Well, but that goes bad, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Maybe some coffee beans?
50 pounds of coffee beans, okay.
I do like coffee.
Sure.
Yeah. Well,
so he's all about
I
the
just looked at the time, and we're running out of time.
We're running out of time again.
We're running out of time.
So what's coming
again.
up, though? So, so we've got my brother coming up, and then you had a few folks lined up for interviews as well, did you know?
Yes, I did. One of them is a friend of mine, Scott Ainzel, and he is the owner of Northwest Pet Resort.
Okay.
And it is a doggy daycare and grooming service.
Wow, so is he like
provider.
kind of a new business owner, or is this like something that's been around for a while?
He's had it for a while now,
Yeah.
but they're looking to expand to a second location.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's pretty exciting. So I'd love to talk to him about expansion and
Sure.
Having an actual physical location, what to do. And then another future interview will be Byron Buchanan. He's an internationally known artist. He's got displays in everywhere from Malibu to Dallas to New York. He's doing some work for some big people that he's not allowed to say publicly. But he has done commission work for celebrities, for titans of business. Pretty cool guy. Really cool. Actually, one of my good friends right now.
Nice. So, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so he's all Northwest too?
He's all Northwest too,
okay.
yeah. Originally from LA, but now in the Northwest.
Sure.
So.
No, wow.
Yeah.
Cool. A doggy daycare.
Doggy daycare and art. Pretty good.
That's not bad. Covering
and then tattoos.
Yeah, all corners of the spectrum for sure.
Absolutely. So, well, that's it for today, but thank you for listening. And again, if you have any questions or you want to talk startups, feel free to email us, Daniel@HaggleChamp.com.
Yep, or Angel@HaggleChamp.com.
Absolutely. And hope you have a great day.
Awesome. See you next time.